tinatanong lang namin for the record. Mr. Galanida, you were a former, bago ka naging mayor, naging DepEd superintendent ka, am I correct?
Yes, sir.
So, in fact, you are Doctor of Education, am I correct?
Yes, sir.
So, ganito, yung mga learners ninyo doon, pinuntahan na ng DepEd, dinalahan na ng ALS program, Alternative Learning System, di ba? Para mabigyan ng edukasyon ng kabataan. And yet, maraming hindi nag-abel, tapos huminto. What could be the reason? Bakit hindi na tuloy-tuloy?
That I do not share what happened.
Oh, grabe naman.
Because I do
Isang
not...
kapihan lang yun, hindi nyo alam bakit ang mga tao nyo hindi nag-aaral.
Hindi namin alam, hindi ko alam until after na we were informed that only 8 survived.
That should be your main concern kasi dati kang DepEd superintendent eh. Tapos hindi nyo alam. Alam nyo, ikaw, tanungin kita, point blank. Bakit kailangan pa ng DepEd magdala ng ALS program doon sa loob ng kapihan?
Kasi napakahirap po ang mag-enroll kasi malayo din.
How far is the nearest elementary school?
Is more than 3 kilometers po.
Oh, more than 3. Ako, elementary school ako noon sa Barangay Batong Santa Cruz, Davao del Sur. Wala pang chinilas, maglalakad kami 7 to 8 kilometers para mag-aral lang. Ang bata, kapag walang nagpumipigil sa bata, pupunta na sa eskwelahan yan. Sigurado pupunta yan. Hindi kailangan pupunta ang school doon sa bata. Sila pupunta sa eskwelahan. In your case, ang mga bata ninyo, bakit ganun? 3 kilometers lang. Mayor, is that saan bang pinakamalapit na elementary school? From Kapihan? Outside of Kapihan?
Lanitag Elementary School. At
sandali lang.
niyo po pa up and down.
Sandali lang.
Barangay Siring.
Barangay Siring.
Barangay Siring.
That is 3 kilometers from Kapihan?
Siguro, mga 3 kilometers.
Tapos, ang high school, saan ang pinakamalapit na high school?
Yung pinakamalapit na high school, yung sa Atuyay.
Ha?
Atuyay.
How far?
Atuyay.
From Kapihan?
Siguro mga 4 kilometers.
O, di malapit lang. Elementary, 3.
Senator.
High school,
Senator.
4.
Ang vice mayor namin, kapatid ng superintendent, siya din yung dati yung district supervisor.
Sige, Vice Mayor, go ahead. You have the floor.
A pleasant morning to the honorable body of the Philippine Senate. Good afternoon. Chairs, Senator Ronald Batu and Senator Risa Hontiveros, Senator Frances and Tolentino. We have embarked on a long journey from our hometown to this magnificent hall of Senate to seek for remedy and or redress of certain grievances of some of our beloved constituents. Now being elected, I and the mayor and the rest of the municipal officials, being elected and appointed officials of the LGU, who are judged as the stewards of the people's well-being and safety, we certainly do not have the liberty to turn a blind eye to these matters. Gusto ko lang patutuhanan yung sinabi ni Raisa Goma, one of the witnesses, and gusto ko rin pabubulaanan yung sinabi ni Jerin Skilayo kanina na free labas-pasok ang mga kabataan doon sa Kapihan because Kapihan is really restricted with 3 gates, no, before you can get inside the area. So, I was the former Public Schools District Supervisor of Socorro East District, and we have gathered data, exact data. February 11, 2019, there were 847 school-age students have dropped from the rolls from kindergarten to high school due to their massive exodus to Kapihan. 42 elementary teachers, 43 secondary teachers from Socorro East and West districts who were SBSI members have started incurring absences without notice to their heads and the division office. June, July 2019, 33 elementary teachers and 36 secondary teachers from Socorro East and West districts have submitted resignation letters, while 8 elementary and 8 secondary teachers were AWOL and were dropped from the rules. So hindi totoo yung sinabi ni Jerin Skilario na nakapag-aral ang mga kabataan doon. 847 kindergarten pupils and students, high school students, na hindi na talaga nila pinaaral for more than 4 years. Ngayon na lang sila
More than
4 years.
4 years.
From their transfer to Kapihan. So, maraming ginagawa ang DepEd para ma-resolve ang isyong ito. In fact, yung aming superintendent, ilang times na nagbisita doon sa amin, including the regional director, DepEd regional director, asik na ron si Bringas. Doon sila, pinuntahan talaga nila doon para ma-investigate, para hikayatin silang bumalik sa school, including yung nag-awol at nag-resign na mga teachers. Pero wala talaga, to no avail. Wala talagang pinakinggan nila lahat.
Yes, go ahead, Senator Tolentino. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Senator Tolentino.
In the interest of fairness, tinitingnan ko yung mga lumang pictures dito, yung nagpasyal tayo sa, anong school yung pinuntahan ko doon?
Socorro National High School.
Socorro National High School.
Mga 1,600 enrollees, including senior high school.
So, kaya ko tinatanong ito, relative to the statement made by the DepEd, kasi dito sa figures na binigay sa amin, mas mataas yung dropout rate noong 2019. 110 noong 2021, surprisingly, 39 lang, bumaba noong 2022. Odette hit Socorro, December 16, 2021. Dinala niyo po ako doon sa high school, yung pataas tayo, yung wasak-wasak yung di ba? Kasama ko kayo, wasak-wasak yung taas. So, hindi kaya, in the interest of fairness, hindi kaya tumaas yung mga dropout rate dahil nasira na yung mga school doon sa taas yung pinuntahan natin. Hindi yan? Talagang itong Kapihan ang dahilan? Hindi, 20...
You answer, Mayor. Vice Mayor.
2019 pa lang yun. Yung pumunta sila sa Kapihan.
Opo, pero...
Wala pa yung 2021 na yung Odette.
2021 si Odette, December 16. Nagpunta naman ako 2022 after Odette. March 2022. Pero noong 2022, konti na lang yung nag-drop out, 25 na. Kasi nag-drop out na noong 2019. Ganun po ba? Massive.
Massive yung drop out, Senator.
Ayun, because I have
yung
figures.
mga naiwan na lang yun. Yung naiwan na lang yung nakita mo doon ng mga estudyante.
Pero masasaya
At hindi yun mga
doon,
membro nila.
Masasaya yung naiwan, pati yung mga
wala
teachers
namang,
natin doon.
wala namang masaya naman yung mga kabataan
Yes.
talaga. Pinahinto lang nila.
Yes, that's why I mentioned a while ago that they took advantage of the good-naturedness and hospitality of the character of the people of Socorro. Dahil nakita ko nga po yon. And I can still vividly remember that visit, yung hagdan-hagdan, and then meron tayong bahay doon sa gitna. Yung green, yung mga teachers naka-green. Ayun, salamat din doon sa natikmang kong pagkain nyo. Masarap.
Thank you, Senator
You're most
Tolentino.
welcome always, Senator.
Balik ako kay Mr. Galanida. Mr. Galanida.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Yung ibang issues, no? Pwede natin yan mapag-uusapan, pwedeng totoo, pwede hindi. Pero itong pagkasal sa mga bata, at saka pilitang pagpakasal, at itong pagbabawal na mag-aral sila, pinipigilan mag-aral, that I cannot forgive. Whoever do that, for me, it's unforgivable. Kaya, once and for all, tanungin talaga kita, binabawalan ba niyo mga bata na pumasok sa eskwelahan o hindi?
Wala po akong alam diyan po kasi ako po ay sa 21 Vice Presidente lang. Halili lang ako kung nandoon ang presidente at saka yung mga policies namin.
So sino ang
Meron
sino ang
kaming board.
nagbabawal pala? Hindi ikaw.
Hindi po.
O sino ang nagbabawal?
Ano po?
Sino ang nagbabawal?
Hindi ko po alam kung may nagbabawal. Basta ang alam ko lang po ang mga hindi naman mapuwersahan yung
Ikaw ang pinaka-elder doon sa grupo kung saan yung mga nasa power, from Kilario sa iyo at saka yung mga ibang opisyalis sa inyong asosasyon. Ikaw ang pinaka well-educated, ikaw yung pinaka dati ka pa nga mayor 3 times ka na mayor. Ito pagdating sa edukasyon ng mga bata, wala kang pakialam. Hindi mo alam at wala kang pakialam.
Ang alam ko po ang kahirapan na kahirapan na magpaaral kasi po sa terrain ng aming lugar.
Hindi, itatanong kita, hindi niyo binabawalan.
Hindi po.
Kusang ayaw ng mga bata mag-aral?
Sa alam ko po, hindi po. Sa alam ko lang po, hindi.
Sa alam? Ano? Sa alam mo, hindi.
Kasi yung lang ang nakita ko po na wala namang policy ng board na bawalan ang mga bata.
Ay, you're telling half truth and half lies, ha? Klaruhin kita. Klaruhin natin ito. Kasi kayo ang policy making body dyan sa kapihan. Tanong ko kung talaga bang pinipigilan yung mag-aral ng mga bata o hindi.
Hindi po, our records will show kung anong pinag-usapan na.
O bakit walang bata nag-aral? Sige nga, explain to me. It is a natural nature ng bata yan na maghanap ng pag-aaral. Kaya nga yung mga bata dito na lumayas dahil lalaki daw sila na walang pinag-aralan. So yun ang nangyari. Tapos sa inyo, wala nag-aral. Yan ay mga parents doon sa loob, may mga parents. I don't believe na itong mga parents na ito ay ayaw nila pagpaaralin yung mga anak nila. At ikaw mismo, I don't believe na ikaw, dati kang mayor, dati kang DepEd superintendent, na ayaw mong paaralin ng mga bata. But how come? How can we explain it to the whole world? Bakit ang mga bata doon ay hindi nag-aaral? Ngayon, you want us to believe that dahil sa kahirapan ng kalsada, which is 3 or 4 kilometers, na babagtasin or lalakarin, kaya hindi papasok mga bata. I don't buy your explanation.
Mr. Chair, please.
Yes, go ahead.
Meron namang parent po dito. Pwede po sila mismo magkuhan bakit hindi pinaaral nila o hindi nakaaral. Meron namang kaming kasama dito na isang parent, si Fibeline Cubillanes po. Pwede pa po payagan makapagsalita para siya po mismo ang mag-express ng kanyang kung ano tagla ang totoo.
Ikaw, parents ka mismo Parents ka mismo. May mga anak, may mga apo ka pa doon, di ba?
Opo, yung mga anak ko po ay tapos na po nag-aral. At,
Bago kasi wala pang kapihan noon.
Wala pa. Po. At, may nag-continue naman po through online.
Sige nga, sino yung parent na gusto mong magsalita? Yes, alika dito para magbigay linaw ka. Bakit yung mga anak mo hindi nag-aaral?
Mr. Chair.
Before that, you want to say something, Senator?
Yes, salamat kayo, Mr. Chair. Bago yung isang importante sa anong follow-up question ko sa DSWD, follow-up lang kay Mr. Galanida. Sir, di ba narinig niyo po yung presentation ni Attorney Dano? Yung mahaba, mabigat, detalyadong schedule ng iba't ibang levels ng Soldiers of God. Simula po madaling araw hanggang halos hating gabi. Narinig po niyo yung presentation iyon?
Yes po, narinig ko po.
Opo. So hindi po kaya logical sa pagtanaw namin na kaya pinagbabawal yung mga estudyante mag-aral dahil ang dami na nilang ibang gawain dun sa mula agila hanggang fetus, mula 2 a.m. hanggang halos gabi na. So, hindi kaya ang nangyayari ay pinatigil niyong mag-aral yung mga bata dahil gusto niyo silang i-recruit dyan sa Soldiers of God?
Nagugulat po ako yung presentation na yan kasi ang marami namang mga activities doon Ang alam ko lang po ay yung sinasabing Salonera Training Camp. Kasi nag-training kami po para sa cultural presentation. Because
Sir,
we believe, especially during the COVID years, na yung hindi makapag-aral formally, makapag-aral sila informal or non-formal through cultural development. Yan po.
Sir, yung maaring may ilan kayong mga cultural activities doon, pero kahit po yung photo na ipinakita ni Chair, na sabi nung una ni attorney ay cultural event, ay lumabas na flag ceremony. At bakit po kayo magugulat doon sa presentation? Mismong yung mga nagtestigo mula sa Aguila, mula sa Agnos, yung isang kababaihan din dito, may marka sa kamay ng mga miyembro ng Soldiers of God. At sabi nila pati yung ilang matatapang na mga bata sa fetus, 7 to 8 years old, may ganung marka. Kumbaga, nasa sariling katawan ng pruweba ng pagde-deploy nila dyan sa iba't ibang level ng Soldiers of God. Para busy sila at pagod, sabi ni na Mayor yata kanina, mula madaling araw hanggang gabi. So paano nga po talaga sila mag-aaral niyan? Tinetrain po sila bilang Soldiers of God. Gabi. So paano nga po talaga sila mag-aaral niyan? Tinetrain po sila bilang Soldiers of God.
Hindi naman po.
Overloaded yung schedule ng mga bata. Kung yun ang totoo, yung presentation na yun, overloaded.
Hindi na, kaya sabi ko po, nagulat po ako kung saan siya nagkukuha doon.
Huwag ka magulat kasi sabi man ito ng mga bata na na-rescue.
Pero
Hindi man yan gawa nila, hindi man yan imbento nila. Nanggagaling doon sa mga bata na nagsasabi kanina. Doon galing sa kanila. Tapos ikaw ngayon, nagulat ka na may ganyan pala schedule. So sino gumagawa ng schedule kung nagulat ka? Sino gumagawa niyan?
Kasi wala kaming schedule ng ganun kaiktik schedule. Ang
Mr.
kono
Chair.
namin yung...
Sir, excuse me po, sorry, Mr. Chair. Okay na, I mean, ang hirap po talagang, ang daming mga pagtetestigo, may presentation na napakadetalyado, tapos sasabihin lamang po na hindi totoo. Kaya nga sinight po kayong apat in contempt kanina ng komite. Just one follow-up question,
Yes,
Mr. Chair, sa DSWD. Dahil po sabi po ni na Asek Dumlao, kulang pa ang panahon ngayon para makumpleto yung pagpoproseso. Pero saan po magsistay yung mga bata? Yun po yung concern kong yun at tanong sa DSWD. Saan po sila magsistay hanggang matapos yung prosesong yun? Yes, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair, batay po doon sa aming pag-uusap ng mga bata, sila kasama po nila ang kanilang mga magulang. Sila po ay may tinitirhan dito na hotel na malapit lang po dito sa Senate. And pagkatapos po dito, kasama rin po nila yung mga magulang nila sa lugar po na nabanggit.
So, and then pagkatapos po, paano po makukumpleto ng DSWD yung social preparation sa kanila?
Well, Mr. Chair, Madam Senator, ongoing naman po yung isinasagawa na social preparation. Kabilang na po dyan yung mga activities na isinasagawa. At sana po, bago matapos ang araw na ito, ay matapos din po yung isinasagawang pagpoproseso sa kanila. Maraming salamat po.
Salamat din, Asek. Sana nga po na kahit lampas nitong hearing, kung kailan man isususpend ni Chair, sana nga sa loob nitong maghapong ito ay makumpleto yung proseso. On behalf of the Chair, si Ma'am Regino ng Commission on Human Rights. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, good afternoon, Your Honors. Good afternoon. Upon hearing your privileged speech, the Commission on Human Rights as the Gender and Development Ombud of the country and as the Child Ombud created a task force to investigate the allegations in Socorro. So what we did was, there was a 5-member team deployed in Socorro. And based on our independent investigation, I should say, we can confirm some of the allegations here. Based on the initial investigation, we conducted many interviews because the task force was there, I think, for 5 days. And we have our report here, Madam Senator, regarding the investigation that we conducted. And on that investigation, we found out initially, based on the interviews with the children, there was forced marriage. There was also denial, or because we are looking into the human rights dimension of this case. There was a violation of the right to education, access to education, and likewise, there's a violation on the freedom of movement of these people. We also we will submit, Your Honor, our initial investigation report because it is actually based on many violations.
Salamat
Thank you,
kayo, Mr.
thank
Chair.
you. Thank you, ma'am, for that findings. Salamat. So, very clear na may mga violation ng karapatang pantao na nangyayari doon. Thank you. DNR.
Magandang hapon po.
Kindly inform this committee. Paano nangyari yan, yung pagkukontrol nila sa lugar na yan? Yung historical background up to the present.
Well, actually, sir,
Yes.
based on records, itong Socorro Bayan Services Incorporated is one of the 12 PAC-BARMA that we have issued so far in the island of
What's
Siargao.
PAC-BARMA?
Protected Area Community-Based Resources Management.
Dandan. Protected area,
Protected Area Community-Based Resource Management.
community-based
Resource Management Agreement.
resource management agreement
Yes, sir.
between a cooperative
This is,
or a people's organization
Yes, sir.
and DNR.
Yes, sir.
So,
Ito
merong-
ay, isang agreement entered into between the department, DNR, and the People's Organization for them to occupy, cultivate, and benefit from the fruits of their labor in a protected area. Kagaya po nitong sa Sabi Area
For how many years?
for 25 years, renewable for another 25 years.
So, maximum of 50 lang.
Maximum of 50, sir.
In this case, si kanila, nakarenew na sila.
Nakaka-labinsyam na taon na. At
Ano?
ika-25 taon ay sa petsa 2029 pa po.
Mag-25 years pa ngayong
2029 po.
2029.
Yes, sir.
So after that, renewable pa.
Pwede po nilang
Another
i-renew.
25 years.
But after our evaluation that they have not violated any of the terms and conditions ng ating agreement.
Subject to evaluation.
Yeah.
Yung kanilang renewal.
Yes, sir. At kahit po sa ngayon,
So kasama ba doon sa kanilang mandato sa agreement that was executed between DNR and the People's Organization called CBSI,
SBSI.
Socorro
Socorro Bayani.
Bayanihan Services Incorporated.
Opo.
Kasama ba doon yung bawal mapasukan ng ibang tao na hindi membro yung area?
Tama
Exclusive. Yung exclusivity.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Po yun.
You can explain about exclusivity.
Exclusivity as against any third party.
Ano?
As against any third party to occupy and develop any area within the stewarded lands.
So bawal.
Bawal po talaga.
Bawal
hindi po bawal in the sense na hindi po pwedeng dumaan because that happens in other areas na pwedeng...
Sandali, klaruhin natin.
Aho.
Non-member ng Socorro pupunta doon para mag-cultivate ng land, bawal. Dahil may agreement na kayo between you and them.
Kung dadaan lang po doon, pwede po yun.
Kung dadaan lang,
Yeah, pwede po.
ang pasyal-pasyal lang,
Pwede rin po kung wala namang gagawin masama doon. Pwede po yun.
so it doesn't clothe them with the with the power to prohibit other people from coming inside the territory.
Hindi po.
That's
Pwede-
clear.
Pwede po yun, yes sir, pwede po.
Hindi yan stipulated doon sa agreement, ha?
Ang exclusivity po is yung use, na yung...
Yung land use lang.
Yes sir, opo.
Pero yung entrance, entrance at saka egress, walang problema.
If I may add, Mr. Senator, sir,
Yes, go ahead.
kahit po yung aking mga tauhan, we have, despite our visitorial power, we still need to get clearance from them to be able to exercise our monitoring.
You are the regulating agency, DNR. You have the visitorial powers. Hindi kayo makapasok doon?
We need to get clearance from them.
Ha?
We need to get clearance.
Anak ng baka. Anak ng baka. Anong klaseng gobyerno kayo? Ganun na kayo kahina. DNR kayo.
Yeah.
Oh, visitorial powers ninyo, exercise ninyo over that piece of land. Dahil kayong DNR. Tapos hindi kayo basta-basta kapasok doon?
Based on my paso, ganun po sa experience namin. We have to inform them in advance na pupunta ko on that date.
Jerez Kilario, bakit nyo binabawalan ng DNR na mag-perform na kanilang mandato doon, na mag-visitorial powers sa inyo? Ikaw ba, Presidente? You answer.
Hindi po naman binawalan yung DNR. Kung pwede silang pumasok, pwede naman. May mga DNR nga pumapasok.
DNR na kayo nagsasabi ngayon, no? Ikaw, puro ka lang nga. DNR na nagsabi na hindi sila makapasok.
Yung makasagot lang po yan ay si Board Mamerto Galanida.
Sige, go ahead, Mr. Galanida.
Mr. Chair,
Go ahead, Senator Risa.
kapansin-pansin lang, dapat ang presidenteng talaga ng isang organisasyon makapagsagot tungkol sa organisasyon. Pasa lang ng pasa ng mga tanong kay Mr. Galanida, Mr. Chair.
Yun nga, lumalabas na parang figurehead ka lang dyan, Mr. Jerez Kilario.
Mr.
You're not
Chair.
the ones leading that organization.
Mr. Chair, kasi po baguhan lang siya, hindi niya alam kung anong nangyari yung for the last almost 24 years.
Bakit siya ginawa niyong presidente? Dahil?
Siya po ang ini-endorse ng dating presidente namin at sa general election siya po ang nanalo.
Okay. Sige.
Mr. Chair.
Siya talagang pinili ninyo.
Mr. Chair, ilina ko lang po. I cannot remember of any incident na binawalan namin ang DNR kasi regular naman sila nagpunta doon even mga 1 month ago nagpunta naman sila. In fact, I think they are even there in Socorro now.
Mr. Galanida, I will cut you short. Kung sabi mo may laban, may away kayo dito ni Mr. Edelito Sangko dahil gusto niya, dati siyang membro, ngayon gustong gumawa ng, mayroon siyang, he has axe to grind against you. Sabi mo rin naman, sila mayor, dahil sa politics, hindi kayo magkakaintindihan, okay lang yan. I can accept that na parang kini-question mo yung kanila sinasabi. Pero ito ngayon, DNR, ano pakialam ng DNR sa politika ninyo? Ano pakialam ng DNR sa asosasyon ninyo? Ang pakialam lang niya is being the regulating agency by the government to regulate yung activities ninyo dyan sa lupa na yan. Anong rason bakit siya magsinungaling?
Ang totoo po, meron naman lang siyang yung representative nila, isang team, yung headed by Mr. Johnson, ayun yung apelido. Palagi naman siya nagpunta doon. Ayaw ko bakit sabi ni director na binawalan.
Sinabi na nga niya. Go ahead, Dinar.
Nagulat po ako. May pretended area superintendent experience that situation na hindi siya pinapasok niya sa area niyan. May pasok in Siargao.
Anong sabi niya?
Siya po mismo yung naka-experience.
Gamitin mo yung microphone. You introduce yourself first.
Good afternoon, Honorable Chair.
Yes.
Samuel Malayo po, Protected Area Superintendent of Siargao Islands Protected Landscape and Seascape. My personal experience in Bayanihan is that during the time when I was still in the regional office and I was conducting performance evaluation of all PACBARMAs in Socorro, it was only SBSI who did not allow us to enter the area. They responded to our letter that they don't have anybody who could assist us in our evaluation because they have important activity in their area.
So with that, you did not complain to the police and seek assistance from the police para you can perform your mandate, makapasok ka doon sa loob? Hindi ka nag-report sa police?
Hindi na po.
Hindi ka nagpatulong? Hindi ka nag-coordinate sa police?
Normal sir, pagka mga ganun pong situation, we just consider their responses and we just reschedule our visit. Pagka ganyan sir. Kasi anyway, that's part of our regular monitoring and evaluation. So kung di sila po pwede, then we just reschedule our visit. That's how we treat our partners in area development. Kasi partners natin sila eh. They may have the reason, so inuunawan na lang po namin. But then,
yeah. You may have the reason. They may have the reasons. You may have the right understanding. But the way I see it from the outside, my God, you're a government agency regulating this activity or this piece of land ng ating bansa. Then hindi kayo makapag-conduct ng evaluation sa loob dahil binabawalan kayo.
Mr. Chair, I think
Yes.
I remember merong isa sa mga witnesses nagsabi na nung nagpunta ang DENR, they were able to set up a trap, parang ganun. Pero I think si Mark yung nagsasabi, baka matandaan pa niya, yung isang witness natin, nagsabi na Bitcoin or in term, parang may
Trap nga. Bitikon.
Bitcoin ang taga.
Sino nagsabi?
Si Mark Hilsano yata yun.
Ikaw,
In one of our interviews sa kanya.
sige nga, you share with us what you know.
Yung pagkakalam ko, sir, yun yung mission task ng pagiging agila. Kasi may balak yung DNR na pumasok, tapos pinagbawalan ni Senyor. Kaya some of Agilas, they're given the task like that, sir, na buhaton ni para dili makasuot ang DNR.
Kung saan buhaton nila? What are they going to do?
Magkuag trap, sir.
What kind of trap?
For example, mag-depot yung kahoy, sir. Yung kahoy na papatamaan siya, ganun, para hindi makapasok.
Sino nagsabi niyan?
Yung kasama kong Agila, sir.
Sino?
Yung ibang member, sir.
Ang pangalan?
Yung nickname lang yung alam ko, sir.
Anong nickname? Nasa loob ba siya? Nasa labas na?
Nasa labas ng kapihan. sir.
Lumabas na?
Nasa loob. ng
Nasa loob
kapihan.
pa? Sige. Thank you. Yes, go ahead, Dinar.
I am saddened to hear that revelation. I'm very saddened to hear that revelation because 2 weeks ago they were in my office inviting me to go to their area and requesting for assistance, seedlings, to be used in their plantation development. But hearing that, I don't know if I will go back there or if I will go there.
Oh, no. You have to go back. That's your mandate. Huwag kayong matalo-talo. Magpasama kayo ng pulis. Otherwise, magiging inutil ang gobyerno nito kapag gano'n ang gagawin ninyo.
Yeah.
Ha?
But they went to my office and we had a discussion. They requested for seedling assistance and requested me to if I could pay a visit in their area. And now I'm hearing that they wanted to put a trap on me.
Hindi maganda yun. Hindi talaga maganda. Ano masasabi mo? Yeah, go ahead.
With your indulgence, Mr. Chair, sobra-sobra may yung paratang ni Mark Berhil.
Hindi, everything comes out, yung spontaneously. Na-remember lang niya na may sinabi, yung DNR nag-usap, na-remember nito, may nabanggit ito, so gano'n. Everything was not planned. Everything was not planned. Narinig lang niya, tapos ngayon, sinabi niya yung ngayon, so wala akong sinasabi na plano ito, ha. Kung sabi mo sobra-sobra, then it's your opinion. Sige, continue.
Kaya po nangyari, maraming mga bisita hindi pumunta doon. Kasi doon pa sa baba, tinatakot na nila po.
Sino nananakot? Sino nananakot?
Basta yung halimbawa, marami namang siguro yung even the press people who went there from the media broadcasters of Surigao. Marami silang sinasabi, huwag kayong punta diyan. Pero pumunta sila, wala na mangyari po. Yun nga ang estratehiya nila, tatakutin na mamamatay sila, tatakutin na hindi na sila makauwing buhay at may bago na silang asawa. Ganyan ang mga sabi-sabi. Aywan ko kung ganyan ang nangyari, parang pinainitan kami po ng ganyan-ganyan. Kaya nga gusto kong malaman anong specific paso yung taon na sinasabi na hindi kayo pinapasok. Baka at
anong taon?
Ng COVID.
Anong taon, Dinar? Hindi kayo pinapasok.
Please allow me to check my record, sir.
Okay, pag-check. And while you are checking, Mayor, tanungin kita, meron bang black propaganda against SBSI doon sa poblasyon? Ikaw man ang Mayor. Naramdaman mo man yan, kung meron bang black propaganda against them na sinisiraan ninyo yung SBSI para walang taong papasok doon, para matakot ang mga taong pumasok sa loob. Go ahead.
Senator, talagang walang black propaganda. Wala kaming ginagawang pananakot na magpunta ng kapihan. Talagang wala. Siguro sa kanila na yun kasi ang sabi ng mga members nila, sila yung palaging tinatakot na ano din daw sila sulungin, no, puntahan ng mga military. Pero sa amin talagang wala. Hindi kami nanakot na magpunta, anuhin sila.
If I may, Mr. Chair.
Yeah, sandali. Mayor, meron kang Executive Order number 49, Series of 2023. An order imposing a temporary ban on the entry to Sitio Kapihan, Barangay Insering, Socorro, Surigao del Norte, of any person or group of person either on his or her personal capacity or representing any private or government agency who are non-residents of the said community, except in cases of emergency as declared by municipal, local government unit or any appropriate authority. Why? What's the reason behind this executive order coming from you, banning people from entering Socorro? This is 2023 lang ito. Bago lang ito, 2023. Can you explain, please?
Kasi, Senator, yung mga witnesses, no, tinawag namin, pinakinggan kung anong mga nararasan nila doon, yung mga experiences. At sabi ng isa o dalawa ng mga witnesses na ano daw sila, may mga baril. O sunod yung sabi ng mga witnesses na ano daw sila, yung bali yung kanilang goal, yung sabi na kailangan daw basta membro ng SBSI, yun yung sabi ng mga witnesses na ano daw, tanungin sila ng kanilang senior kung handa ba kayong mamatay. No, ang sabi ng mga membro, handa ba rin kayong magpakamatay? O ganun. So, nagawa ako ng executive order, no, na kasi parang yung protection, no, ng mga bisita na nagtemporary muna kami ng entry ng kapihan. Pero yung mga...
Why I perfectly understand your concern, why you issue this executive order in the interest of public order and public safety. You have to do it. It is the call of the time. But useless man din yung executive order mo na banning people to enter there. Bawal man din pasukan nila. So, double negative. Ayaw mo papasukin mga tao doon para safety, para safe ang mga tao.
If I may, Mr.
Yun
Chair.
naman doon, hindi naman nila pinapapasukan. Bawal mo na pumasok. So, wala rin. Yes, go ahead, Mr. Galanida. You have the floor. Yeah, go ahead. Sige.
Mr. Chair, actually, Mr. I must confess that we cannot understand why the LGU is... sorry. We request, Mr. Chair, to recognize our counsel, Attorney Olga Reserva.
Gusto mong magsalita si Atty. Olga? Sige. Sige.
Yes po, relative to the executive order, before
Sige.
I continue.
Sige. Go ahead, Atty. Olga.
Good afternoon, Your Honors. I'm Attorney Hilary Olga M. Reserva, and I appeared...
Reserva.
Reserva.
So, si kanina, attorney, yung apo ng original...
De La Peña.
De La Peña ka?
De La Peña.
Ito, Reserva.
Yes, Your
Okay,
Honor.
go ahead.
I appeared before the Sangguniang Panlalawigan because there was an ordinance created by the LGU of Socorro which exactly copied the EO 49. And we raised the following contentions: that the ordinance violates not just the right to travel the members of the kapihan, also that it exercised the calling out powers which belonged exclusively to the president, and also that it is partial and discriminatory in nature. And at that time, the Sangguniang Panlalawigan, the Committee of Laws and Governance, gave them at least 30 days to produce any report from any fact-finding government agency. However, until this day, there was no report given which could prove that there were allegations of amassing firearms, that there were several shabu laboratories inside the kapihan. So by virtue of that, the committee headed by SP Bernal and the Sangguniang Panlalawigan of Surigao del Norte rendered the ordinance as null and void and ultra vires for being speculative, baseless, and discriminatory in nature. That's all, Your Honor.
Thank you. So, ito pala yung revoke ng Sangguniang Panlalawigan.
May I continue, Mr. Chair?
Yes, continue.
That's the real proof na inaapi yung kami ng LGU ng Socorro po.
Sandali. Before you continue, andito yung Provincial Legal Officer, Attorney Christopher Tripoli. Are you around?
Good afternoon.
Yeah. Is it true that such executive order was revoked by the Sangguniang Panlalawigan?
What was revoked, Mr. Chair, was the ordinance that was subsequently passed by the Legislative Council of the Municipality of Socorro.
The municipal ordinance?
Yes, Mr.
The same issue, the same topic?
Yes.
About banning the entry to Kapihan?
Generally, Mr. Chair, they adopted the executive order of the mayor.
Okay. Thank you for that. Please continue, Mr.
Mr. Chair, actually, Mr. Chair, I must confess na nag-lead ng kaguluhan doon ay ang LGU mismo, Mr. Chair. Kasi siguro because of political rivalry. Halimbawa, marami silang tatlong executive order, isang ordinansa na parang inaapi kami, parang discriminate kami. That was a class legislation. Tanong ko, bakit si Mayor Rachel naumpo siya last July 22, July 1, 2022 hanggang ngayon hindi lang po siya nakabisita o nag-invite sa amin po doon sa Kapihan.
In-invitean ba niyo siya?
May I be recognized?
Sandali lang. In-invite mo ba sila? Si Mayor?
Ang kwan po namin is kung mayroon kaming mga problema, dapat as a mother, kasi sabi niya sa election campaign, mother of all.
Pinulatan kami, in-invite kami. In fact, I went twice sa kanya. Nasabi ko na, ano ba ito kung pwede lang ayusin natin. Ano talaga ang gusto ng LGU, Mr. Chair. Pero ang nangyari, hindi siya maski mga activity ng LGU, hindi kami fairness, hindi kami involved.
Okay.
Aywan ko.
Before the mayor answers the question, siguro, ako yung inyong whatever political differences that you may have among yourselves, mayor at saka ikaw, pwede yang maariglo. Ha? Pwede yang maariglo, walang problema, pwede yang pag-usapan. Pero ang hindi mapag-usapan, yung mga issue ngayon na pinag-usapan natin, yung pagkasal ninyo ng mga bata na minor de edad at pagpupumilit na mag-sex sila at saka yung hindi pagpapaaral sa mga bata. Hindi talaga makuha sa usapan yan dahil ibang usapan yan, ibang usapan.
Your Honor, if I
yeah, go ahead.
Your Honor, all of the issues raised here in this proceeding were also raised at the Sangguniang Panlalawigan, Your Honor. And in a recent interview by Sangguniang Panlalawigan Bernal, he even said that he has in his own verified sources that the intention, the motive behind the ordinance, which basically copied the EO 49, which gave the power of the task force kapihan to get the custody of the children, was based on personal motive of Mr. Adelito Sangco. That's what is in his interview, Your Honor.
Okay, regardless, whatever, kung may motive behind or what, the fact remains that it was invalidated by the Sangguniang Panlalawigan. So, wala na yun. Wala, nothing to discuss about that. Talagang mali yun na municipal ordinance as far as the Sangguniang Panlalawigan is concerned.
Yes, Your
Kasi
Honor.
nirebook nila, di ba?
Yes, Your Honor.
So, it stays. It stays. Pero ka gustong sabihin, bago magsagot si Mayor.
Lastly, Your Honor, sorry.
Sandali lang. Ikaw muna. Sino ka, ma'am? Please,
good afternoon. I'm Attorney Magdalena Lipitan of Cebu for Human Rights. Cebu for Human Rights. We are a non-government organization based in Cebu.
Cebu
for Human
Rights.
Yes.
You are an NGO.
We are an NGO.
Yeah, go ahead.
And how come we are here? Because we are a friend of Richard Dano, and a member, Attorney Fiona Bojos, is a classmate of Richard, and we were able to go to Socorro and found out the situation. And in our limited way, we did help them. So, nakikita namin, first, we would like to confirm that indeed there are forced marriages. We have interviewed them, and in fact, we have interviewed also Mark. And the reality is that helping fight a cult is challenging, not because of yung mga forced marriages, pwede pa yun, ano? Pero private army, parang, teka lang, that's a little bit dangerous.
Hindi okay sa akin yung forced marriages. Hindi ko matanggap yun.
Sa amin, mga human rights lawyers, tinitingnan din namin yung safety namin. Well, anyway, nung narinig namin kay Mark na kahit yung taga-DNR ay nilalagyan nila ng mga trap, teka lang, delikado yon. So I can understand the challenge, no, of the DNR going there because they have their own private army and that the training is really extensive. Young combatants, children, training them to be skilled, no? Anyway, nakikita rin namin sa tulong namin, ng tinutulungan namin, that basically the local government of Socorro, they have the right heart, but unfortunately may lack the skills on how to handle it. And one of that is in their sincere effort to protect the residents, gumawa nga sila ng ordinance, which later on was declared void. may mga kakulangan, the documentation, that sort. At saka nung nagpunta kami sa kanila, palagi silang talo sa case. Yon, lumalapit sila sa amin, attorney, talo na naman kami sa writ of habeas corpus. So the first child, yon, talagang malaking blow sa kanila, di ba? Because they were trying to protect that child, and then later on, the court gave that child back to the parent because under the law, the primary custody should be with the child. Pero kung titingnan namin, a petition for involuntary commitment was filed earlier, but it was not ruled upon. So, sa tingin ko, may kakulangan siguro sa batas. You cannot answer a cult movement with hodgepodge laws, no? So, ngayon, going back, ang mga issues na kikita namin, why would they go there in the first place? There are 3,500 to 5,000. What are the pushing factors why people would go there and stay there? Ignorance, yes. Miseducation, yes. Merong element of desperation, poverty. May nagtatago nandun kasi may mga warrant of arrest. May nandun kasi napuno sa utang.
Attorney, mga teachers yung iba, mga kuan yun,
That's why
license kuan yun.
Yes.
Licensed teachers, ito mga police ito na puro ito mga NAPOLCOM at civil service eligibles. So yun lang, nagbatin lang ako. Please continue.
Totoo yun. At saka tinatanong yun sa media sa amin, what pushes them? Bakit nandun sila? At saka bakit nananatili silang nandun? So, nung tinignan namin, anecdotal, kasi hindi naman thorough yung statistics namin, may mga iba talaga doon na walang mapuntahan, no? Napuno na sa utang. May mga ilang teachers na punong-puno na sa utang. And then, based yung culture nila of strong helping each other, yung bayanihan. Kung nandun ka, anyway, each member is helping another member. Pero why they would stay there, even though with this reality, ang isang factor doon is, wala na silang babalikan kasi binenta na nila. Second, paninindigan na lang nila. Kasi nandito na kami eh. We will stand by it. So that's why we recommended reintegration, rehabilitation, alternative livelihood, so that these people could be reintegrated back to the community. Pero, ang sa amin talaga na nakita namin na maganda, because palaging talo sa case eh. May vowsy kami, talo. May adultery, talo. Ganyan. So, I think the Senate, legislators, would have to craft a law or a policy that would answer cult. Because this is rampant in Mindanao and other parts of the country. Kasi kung titingnan mo, hodgepodge lang yung batas natin eh. So, one act may not be connected. Sa simulang-simula, nung nag-opening remarks si Senator, sabi mo, it's well-defined, it falls under a cult. And yet, yun yung common term for cult. But it has never been defined under Philippine laws kung ano yung cult natin. And wala pa, kasi wala nga tayong batas noon, so difficult to define. Common knowledge lang natin na yun yung definition sa code. Now, the Cebu for Human Rights, we will be submitting a position paper, but our recommendation is really to come up with a more comprehensive law on this matter to answer, kasi hindi kaya. At saka nakikita namin, this Senate investigation really put into light the problem. Kasi nung nandun sa Socorro, yun, tinutulungan ng NBI, correct, talagang tinutulungan. Yung CHR doon, yung region nyo, yun, meron, ito, meron, pero hindi buo. At saka yung sa DepEd, yun tumutulong. But with this platform and with this venue, you're really able to bring the problem about cult and cultism all over the Philippines. Kaya nga siguro patok na patok kasi maraming nagkaka-interest dito. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Attorney. Thank you for your sharing us that
Your
information.
If I may.
Magbigyan ko lang muna sandali, Senator Risa, si Attorney. Attorney, you have the floor.
Your Honor, may I debunk the facts that what Attorney Lapitan said? Because she said that the reason why I'm stating the ordinance here, the proceedings in the Sangguniang Panlalawigan, because all of these forced marriages, the amassing of high-powered firearms, the creation of drug shabu laboratories inside the Sitio Kapihan were all raised in Sangguniang Panlalawigan. They were given a lot of time to sustain the constitutionality of the ordinance. However, until now, they did not present any report from any agency, PNP, DILG, or CHR at that moment. That's why it was said to be speculative and baseless. Second, she said that that they filed an involuntary commitment and it was not responded. However, Your Honor, they only filed the involuntary commitment petition after 2 months after gaining custody over the children. They filed the involuntary commitment after we filed the writ of habeas corpus. That's why it was a belated action, because normally you would file an involuntary commitment if you would want to get the custody of a child. However, they already had the custody of the child.
Kaya nga, aminado na nga si Attorney at saka si Mayor na talo talaga sila sa kaso nyo. Dahil
yes.
Nakuha nyo balik yung bata eh. Kahit na gaano kaganda ng intention ni Mayor na i-hold yung bata para, yun nga, ang bata na nga lumayas eh. Ang bata na nga ang umayaw, pumunta sa kanila, na-rescue nila. Ngayon, because of due process, ginamit ang lahat ng legal processes, lumabas talaga sa korte, which is desisyon ng korte na ibalik sa parents yan dahil under the law, dapat ang parents talaga mag-custody ng bata, hindi yung mayor, hindi yung DSWD. So, yun nga, talo nga sila talaga. Talo sila, under the law.
Yes.
Talo. So,
the reason
accepted na yan. Kahit anong intention nila, talo talaga. So, yeah, what are you trying to establish, Attorney?
The reason why I'm raising this, Your Honor, is because she said that they filed the involuntary commitment first and it was not entertained by the court. However, upon summons, upon records would speak that they only filed 2 months after gaining custody of the children. That's why
kaya nga, talo nga talaga sila dahil they're always two steps behind you. Talo sila.
Mr. Chair.
Yeah, go ahead, Senator Risa.
Ang maganda lang po, Mr. Chair, and may I please also share my differing opinion with the attorney. Actually, may laban pa po yung mga bata dahil dinidinig po, iniimbestiga ng Senado. Yung mga gustong i-champion yung rights of the children, yung best interest of the child, bagamat sa mga prior processes, maaring hindi nabigyang daan yung kanilang hinihiling, pero dahil mga sa naunang ginawa ng NBI, naunang ginawa ng DOJ IACAT, naunang ginawa ng PNP, naunang ginawa ni na Mayor at ng MSWDO, nakarating sa amin dito sa Senado. And ibig sabihin, hindi na-uphold. And in fact, I would state it more strongly, nalalabag ang best interest of the child, nalalabag ang karapatan ng bata sa kasalukuyang sitwasyong kinasasadlakan nila sa kapihan, sa kamay ng SBSI. And one of the, dagang salamat kay Attorney Lepitan, we conduct these investigations in aid of legislation also. So kung meron po kayong ipapanukala na mas sumasaklaw na batas, we would be very interested to study that. At isa po sa mga aspetong binanggit nyo, yung rehabilitation. Actually, yun yung isang pending important matter ko sa DSWD. Kapag finally nga napatunayan na victim survivors ng human trafficking, for one, itong mga witnesses natin kung merong program for rehabilitation and reintegration ng DSWD na maaasahang matanggap ng mga bata, ng kanilang mga pamilya. And in fact, yung ating mga child victim survivors nananawagan sa mga kababata nila na nandun pa sa kapihan na bumaba na rin, tumakas din. Kasi daw walang kinabukasan sila doon. Simula lang dun sa hindi sila pinapayagang makapag-aral. So I just want to, in this way, also express support for our committees and our chair, and speaking as his co-chair, na hindi pa tapos ang laban, may laban ng mga bata. Dahil nakarating sa amin yung kanilang mismong personal na testimonya.
Mr.
Salamat
Chair.
tayo, Mr. Chair.
If I may add, Mr. Chair.
Yes, go ahead, Atty.
Sa dami-dami kasing tumakas na doon, natatakot silang magsalita. Ito yung mga bata na matatapang, ito yung mga witnesses na matatapang. Kasi ang dami na kasing nagsasabi na ganitong nangyari sa kanila. Kasi imagine mga more than 1,000 na siguro yung bumaba. Pero ayaw nilang magsalita. Natatakot talaga sila. May tukhang balikan sila, and then the black van na sinasabi, van na sinasabi na puntahan sila. So, yung takot na balikan. So, ito yung sad thing na nangyayari sa kanila. Kasi, meron pang mas malala sa tingin ko na dinaanan. Meron pang talagang rape na nire-rape na tumatakas doon. Pero ayaw magsalita. Pinuntahan namin pero ayaw talaga kasi natatakot. Now, with the culture of fear, sana may tutulong na, ma-uplift yung ano nila, na, yung courage nila na magsalita. Ang dami kasi. And then, psychologists or mga specialists na tutulong sa kanila. Kasi sa dinami-dami nila, sa mga pinagdaalan nila doon sa taas, sa tingin ko, kinakailangan ng interventions. Now, yung sa pagkuha sa mga bata, gusto talagang lang kunin yung mga bata lahat. For purposes of recantation, may nag-recant na eh. Dalawa sa kanila nag-recant na. So, kung hayaan nating maibigay yung mga bata, our cases will be weakened, I think. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Attorney. I think, Colonel Laude, meron kang Women's and Children's Desk, di ba?
Yes, for Honor.
Tutukan nyo itong problema na ito doon. Ha? Yung provincial WCD mo, pabiyahin mo, papuntahin mo doon sa Socorro para alalayan yung local government doon sa yung maintenance ng mga bata.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Kasi kung pabayaan natin ito, hanggang hearing tayo dito, mamaya pag-uwian doon, takot pa rin yung mga bata. Kailangan i-assure natin sila na hindi sila dapat matatakot at they should have peace of mind. Kasi mga bata pa ito eh. Pwede mo tutukan, dali mo doon yung mga kuan mo, Women's and Children's Desk mo para magtumulong doon?
Yes, sir. As of now, sir, I have instructed also my provincial WCPD, sir, and my provincial investigation development detective unit, sir, to conduct investigation, further investigation.
Hindi lang investigation, kundi yung psychosocial intervention na pwede niyong gawin in coordination with DSWD para kawawaan. Marami daw. 1,000 plus na itong mga bata na naglayasan doon. Tapos ngayon, andyan, still living in fear. Baka pick upin ng black na van. Totoo ba ito, Mr. Galarida? Na pinipick up niyo yung mga bata doon ng black na van? Ay babalik sa kapihan?
Wala naman po kaming black band.
Wala kayong black band?
Wala po.
Sino may-ari ng black band? Saan yan? O urban legend lang yan?
Mr. Chair.
Yes, go ahead, Senator Risa.
Nasa testimonyo po yan kanina ni Sir Jeng, yung tungkol sa black van. Mr. Chair, yung DOJ will correct me if I'm wrong, but sa knowledge ko po, dahil naibalik na nga yung isang batang tumakas sa bisa ng habeas corpus case na pinafile ng Socorro Bayanihan Services ay nabalitaan ko po, and correct me if I'm wrong, na tututol po ang DOJ dun sa ibang mga cases of habeas corpus dahil mukhang continuing crime po ito ng human trafficking at iba pa. In fact, Mr. Chair, it seems to me, as author of the expanded Anti-Trafficking in Persons Act, that victims of trafficking shall immediately be placed under protective custody of DSWD. Kaya naisip ko lang po, dahil kanina sinabi po ni Asek Dumlao na mahaba pa ang kailangang panahon for their debriefing, hindi po ba tama, Mr. Chair, na the state, in the exercise of its parens patriae powers and in compliance with Section 7K of RA 9208 as amended, take protective custody of the two minors and their parents if they wish in the hands of SBSI. So, maaari ko bang hilingin, Mr. Chair, na mag-weigh in dito sa aking tanong ang IACAT at DOJ or DSWD? Yes, thank you.
Yes, you may answer.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Senator. We confirm, no, the Department of Justice, as chairperson of the IACAT, confirms that we have this provision under the expanded anti-trafficking law, which allows the state to take protective custody of trafficking victims when it is warranted. And it would appear, Your Honor, that under these circumstances, that it's warranted because we've heard the testimonies of many children, many victims who attest to the occurrence of a variety of acts, such as forced marriage, forced labor, and then we also know of the pending investigation of the CHR, on top of the pending investigation right now before DOJ for, among others, human trafficking. And then some of the respondents themselves, some of the leaders of Bayanihan have already been cited in contempt by the Senate for lying, no, Your Honor. So it would appear that the state does have sufficient ground to take protective custody of any other victims that are present right now that the state doesn't have custody of. Our concern lang, Your Honor, is that the court has already spoken insofar as the authority of the local social welfare and development office to maintain custody of the children. But that doesn't preclude the national DSWD from taking custody of the children, and as well as the parents, if the parents do want to surrender or to be under the custody of the DSWD.
Thank you for that opinion, Yusik T.